And find out the ages. Huh.
All right, we're ready. Yeah. I'll call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If everybody just bow their head 1 second with that quick invocation. Dear Lord, just want to thank you for the opportunity to serve you today. Please look after all the people in this pandemic that are sick and healing, put your healing hands on them. And please pray for our leaders in our country. We need it. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, any addenda to the agenda?
No, sir, nothing else to add.
All right, everybody got a couple of minutes from January 28th? Any additions or corrections? Motion approved. Have a motion to approve the minutes. Have a second? Have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, they're approved. We'll get right into public hearings. First one is AA 2102, a request for a variance to allow a second electric meter at 539 Brittany Park.
The applicant is requesting approval to install a second electric meter on the property located at 529 Brittany Park. The applicant has constructed an accessory structure on the site, which you can see here. This is taken from the road. You see it sets well back from the edge of the road there. The applicant would like to have power in the building. The structure will be used as a workshop, gym, pool house in the future. The applicant also is proposing a future pool in the area. The power for these additional improvements would come off of this new meter as well. You see here the close-up of the structure. This is from looking at it from the back of the house. You see there is a meter box mounted on the back wall as it sits now. And you can see this is about halfway from the house to the building. You can see where the meter is, sits on the house currently. The Anderson City Code states that any property zoned single family may only have one electric meter on the property. This is so that single family houses are not converted to duplexes. The code does state that the Board of Zoning Appeals may grant relief from this provision. The applicant is therefore requesting a variance from this provision so that he can install the second meter in the garage. We have reviewed the building, looked at the site. It does appear that the structure will be used for the purposes outlined above. It does not appear that there are any concerns about a residential conversion of this structure in the future. This building sits on what was a separate lot of record prior to installation of the building. So they had two separate building lots that we require them to combine into one lot of record because this is an accessory structure, so it cannot sit on a lot by itself. So we require them to combine the two lots into one. Theoretically, if they built a house on that, they would have been able to have a meter for the house and a meter on the house that you see here. But since we're combining them into one lot of record, it falls into this provision of 1 meter per lot. The house and structure are a good distance apart. However, there does not appear to be a physical constraint on the property that would not allow the applicant to run a new line from the house meter to the building. The applicant would have to upgrade his existing electrical service to allow for the increased power demands of the new uses. As there is no visible physical hardship, staff does recommend denial of this request. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is present tonight as well.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
Exactly how far is it from the residence to the other structure?
I have not measured it. Do you know what
I don't know.
a few hundred feet, I would guess.
I'm
A
sorry?
couple hundred feet, I would guess.
A couple of hundred feet?
Minutes walk, yeah.
Up to 200 feet, because I'm thinking about cords that I use to, get temporary power there.
There is, you can kind of see it in the picture here, there is already a power line that's run out here as well. The applicant stated that that was there previous to the building being located there. And so there is already a power line in the ground ready to go onto the meter if approved.
Now, they put the power line in, or already there?
Butler put the power line in, the previous owner of the lot.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away and we decided to move to Anderson and buy his house.
Okay. All right, any questions for staff, or would you like to talk to the applicant? Discussion amongst the board?
Can we talk?
Yeah. If you'd like to get up and state your case, but if you don't mind, just come up and state your name.
Sure.
And I think somebody had a request that you,
Okay.
while you talk, take your mask off so we can,
Yes, sir.
I should probably do that too, so you can hear a little better.
That one? Okay. Hi. Case, I just really wanted to see what the, I'm sorry, Mark Alba, my wife Deborah is up there too, 529 Brittany Park here in Anderson. And then, case-wise, we did, basically went through homeowners association, so basically followed everything that they wanted us to do to put the structure in. Got to talk with Jeff about doing the building inspections, electrical inspections, the merging 2 lots into one. So basically just trying to follow protocol. And they said the power was there, so I figured it was made sense, to just put a meter and try to run it off that, run a new meter off of that. And this seems like I got a copy of when you did approve that 904 Campfield Road. It seems like a pretty similar situation, for another meter on that lot. But just case-wise, anything you want to add on it? Just
No, I think that the thing that's significant is it is going to be used as a separate unit in terms of a pool house, a workshop, and a gym. So believe me, there is no intent to ever make that a self-standing structure. And there's no water, so there's no plumbing in there at all. So it's strictly, for what's essentially going to be an entertainment for the pool house.
Any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman. Alba, I'm sorry, I was looking for the name. It's
Okay.
Alba.
So that's very well.
Let me be frank here with you real quick. All the years I've been on this board, we've had a lot of requests, these type of requests for another meter. And this has always been a battle because of the fact that the ordinance, they're always afraid they're gonna turn it into a rental piece of property and so forth and so on. And it's always always a real, catch type thing when it comes to.
I swear as a retired law enforcement officer that I won't turn it into a residential
Well-
facility.
That's good. I'm a retired law enforcement officer myself.
Fantastic.
So, I will do anything in my power to try to help you here. It just, I'm just telling you what, the board, we hear this a lot.
Oh, I can understand the interest. Of course, I never even considered the thought that somebody would build a shed and rent it to somebody or live in it. You know, we're from Pennsylvania, it's kind of cold, it's a lot colder up there.
Yeah, we use sheds a lot differently up there than you all do down here.
Yeah, so, like I said, that never even crossed my mind that that could be, you know, something.
Yeah, we were like, really? That's new to us.
Any other questions?
Oh, just so you, I mean, the house does, like, we had a new air conditioner put in recently, and the lights already blink when the air conditioner goes on in the summer, you know, so that's why we're worried about the power levels and all that kind of stuff in the house, so,
Will you have heating and air in this building at all?
no. Insulate it and open the windows when it gets hot, you know.
Any other questions for the applicant, or you want to, anybody have a discussion, you want to talk to Jeff about some things?
I just want to make one more comment. We received about a dozen phone calls from neighbors about it, and there were no objections to the meeting.
Okay.
So,
Now, you made them combine it, can they separate it again if they wanted to sell just that lot? Is it a buildable lot?
This is a buildable lot, yes. If they were to separate it, it would have to be, we probably would need a building permit in hand at that point for a house before we allow them to separate it again, because this is considered an accessory structure. You can't have
Right.
an accessory structure on a lot just by itself. So you have to have a permitted use before you can have an accessory use.
Gotcha.
So if it were to be separated back out again, we would want to know that there were real plans in place for a house to go on the front. But yes, it is a buildable lot.
Okay.
And I think the pool will take up too much room for a house.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else?
Is it possible to put a stipulation on it that it could not be used for residential in the future if it ever came about?
Well, I mean,
I mean, you
can
can
you
always
do that?
have
It can be,
language that
it can be,
your
it can be
motion, but
single
it's
house
other-
separate.
It is single family, so.
It's single, yeah. I mean, I don't have, we have done it.
We have.
We have done it.
We have done it.
We have done it in the past.
Yeah.
Especially been that far away. I mean, the problem is,
Exactly.
we're not supposed to, if it's not a, if you don't have a hardship, I mean, it just, money is not, we're not supposed to pay attention to that. It costs, you know, costs to run down there, but, you know, I personally don't have a problem with it.
The other thing to think of too is, I mean, there were two individual lots at one time.
Wait, I'm sorry, would you please take your mask off when you're talking? Hey,
There were two individual lots, which each would have been able to have their own meter at one point, and now they've been combined to one. So theoretically, at one point, there could have been 2 meters on this combined land, so that's
Right.
another consideration.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a problem with it. I make a motion that we approve this.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. The meter's been approved.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
And you don't, you can stay if you like, but you don't have to if you don't want to. We're gonna go right into our second public hearing, AA
Oh, I was gonna ask you.
2103, a request for a variance from the sign requirement at the intersection of Nicholas Drive and Old Williamson Road at Willow Bend.
The applicant is seeking a variance from sign requirements to allow them a larger entrance sign than allowed under the city sign ordinance. The property is the Willow Bend townhouses at the intersection of Nicholas Drive and Old Williamson Road. This is across from the Palmetto Valley single-family subdivision on the right as you're coming into town. This is their existing sign that is out there at the one road entrance. Basically, what they're looking to do is replicate this sign at the other road entrance a little bit further down the road. Development was started in the county and then annexed into the city. Construction had begun on the roads, the first few buildings, and then the first entrance sign that you see here was approved in the county, so it met county guidelines. City guidelines are different, however. City guidelines allow 2 entrance signs at each entrance with a maximum area of 36 square feet per sign. And our guidelines also state that the monument signs are to be measured from the greatest outside dimensions of the sign structure. So we don't measure just this area here, we measure all the way out, top to bottom, left to right. And so this would not meet our guidelines in the city, but it does meet the guidelines for the county where this one was approved. The applicant would just like the 2 entrance signs to match, since it is a common development. In terms of findings and facts, we do not feel that the sign meets the criteria for area enhancement. We do find that it meets the criteria A, B, and D for hardship. A, the proposed new sign will not leave the street level sign clutter. B, the sign will not create a traffic or safety hazard. And D, the sign will match the existing sign, again approved previously by Anderson County, at the second entrance. Approval will allow for a consistent sign package for the development. The sign would be approved by the county had the property not been annexed. We do not feel it meets for a site hardship, but it does meet for the criteria above. Basically, when we annex it, we agreed to annex it under the existing conditions of the layout, the road, the building construction, and all of those. But this is a new permit after the fact, and so we felt we needed to go through this process. But staff does recommend approval of the request. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff.
Any questions, any discussion? I don't have a problem with it being, it's already, I mean, they got annexed, it wasn't their fault if it's approved before.
Right.
I thought one of the key statements in the synopsis was that the county would have approved this.
You're right.
Simply because they're coming into the city. I'm like, Glenn, I don't see the.
I mean, I think it was better to have 2 things that match instead of some.
I don't see any reason to deny this variance.
All right, we have a motion to approve. There's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, that motion's approved. Is there any new business we need to take care of?
I have nothing else to add.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
And a second. We got seconds all over the place. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. We are adjourned.